To be honest with you, I didn't know anything better. Somebody told me just go do that. But I think that somebody was kind of like, because they see me, and I was like, hey, this guy's always, doing something and perfection, like he put a nail into something, and if he doesn't like it, he'll do it again.
Yeah.
Or just go get another piece of wood and do it again. It's
Right.
the same thing, everything I do. And I
Right.
was like, hey, you should go do that.
Hey, is there a better tool that empowers a woman to defend against an attacker that's bigger and stronger?
No, there absolutely is not, Dave.
Where is Alicia when I need her?
I know. Where is Alicia?
She's doing something. But that's why it's so important for women to learn how to defend themselves with the most effective self-defense tool ever invented. For women, led by women, the Not Me program is designed to help with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's totally free. Sign up today. Go to notmesd.org. Notmesd.org.
So we're here with Two. Two is his company is 2c.us.
Three's here too.
But Two I actually know through Gunfighter Tactical. That's how we met, right? Two,
Yeah.
is that originally how we met?
Yep.
And you have been a table sponsor at Gun Prom, and you're always so breathtakingly generous. You just call up. This year, you just called up and said, "Hey, Mike, I got a bunch of stuff I'm going to donate to you for the raffle." And it's always so super generous, man. And it's you've told me before how much you believe in what we're doing and in the Second Amendment, and I'm just so glad that I'm so glad that you're so passionate, man. Because you're somebody who's I'd much rather have you on my side than on the other side, because you're such a great dude. And
So that brings up a good point. What is he doing that has caused you to be so generous?
Well, I like guns, and I always think 2A is something that I don't have growing up. So it's important. He does a lot of stuff. I've been watching over the year. I'm small, but, like every year I go to a gun show, I always think about it next year. So saving up, and I do what I can, and, put your support where you believe in.
We're actually going to, we had a super interesting conversation Friday night about Two growing up in Vietnam and his perspective on everything. And we're going to do a long-form interview with you on your background, because it's fascinating. We could not do it justice. We couldn't do our conversation justice here today, but I can't wait to interview you and talk about your background and coming to the U.S., and some of your opinions and perspectives are fascinating. But what I want to talk to you about today is you generously donated a custom Glock 17 for the symposium, something you customized, right?
That is correct.
So talk about it. What exactly talk about what did you do? What is the customization you did on the Glock 17?
So it started with an OEM Glock 17, which is, you're not going to get anything more reliable as an OEM Glock. And then took the slide off, did some special slide cut to make it very grippy. That's actually my own design. We called it a 2C Super Grips because it's very grippy. So that's a slide cut. And then we
2C Super Grip.
Yep, 2C Super Grips.
So when you say basically you can get your paws on that thing and rack it.
You can literally get 2 finger on that with almost like very little pressure, and it worked. That's exactly. I had one of these things in a case at the store, and then it looks. You can't just look at it and adjust it. That's the reason why I have a sample in the store. And then people come in there, and I don't even. It was like, just tried it, and the guy grabbed it and I was like, "Oh my god! I mean, I've feel anything like this before." I'm like, "That's it. That's the reason why."
Hand it to. Can you, are you
there you go.
Dave. Dave,
see
what do you
if
think?
Dave say the same thing.
That
Oh my
grippy?
god! I never feel anything like that.
So this would eliminate a person that can't rack a 9mm.
Yeah, I couldn't think of any better is to improve that racking size.
How did you get into this? How did you get into doing the slide cuts and customization and whatnot?
So 7 years ago, I'm just like another gun guys, and I sent my stuff out there to get it done, and I wait for about 6 months. I got my slide back, and it kind of worked, but I didn't. I'm like, yeah, this could be a lot better. So 6 years ago, I already started doing this work, and then I went back. I was always a good friend of Gunfighter, so I came back to the store with my own stuff, and Lee was like, "Where do you get this from?" I'm like, "Just go home and do it myself." And it was like, "You want to do this for us?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know if I have time, but for you, of course, I'll do anything." Gunfighter is like San Diego Gun Owner, like that's the 2 places I just go hang out and do anything that I can do to help. So I tell them that, and that's how I started. And then, from part-time and then just wanting more and become like a full time and double whatever. But that's how we got here.
Here, look down the optic again, Dave. I just turned it on for you.
Oh.
You see it?
Oh, yeah. Right
How
on
cool
your
is
nose.
that, right? I'll put it on my nose.
Put it up here.
So those guys are great. Can't say enough good about Gunfighter
Yep.
Tactical. I know you're going to miss them like I will.
Oh,
So where can people find
Yeah,
your stuff?
Where did you land?
where do I land?
Because before that, because you're an engineer by trade, right?
Yep, I am an engineer. Yep.
So talk about what do you do for a living exactly?
So, well, I hope they don't hear me on gun radio because I actually still consultant, design, and prototype for the biotech out there. I actually, when I start getting into this gun stuff, I actually lost some business when they found out what I'm doing. They out of size.
What?
So
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely.
What happened there?
So,
what did that
okay,
look like?
I'm a mechanical engineering. I graduated back in 2008, and of course, I had to start, in the corporate world to pay my bills. And I did 3 startup. I worked for about 12 years before I just quit and do all the gun full time. So right around 2015, I kind of like phase out, and getting ready to get out and do my own thing. So I did consulting full time from 2015 to 2019. I got a bunch of clients. 2 of the biggest clients actually paid a bill, found out, like I did guns on the side, and I never heard from them again. So I got smarter, and then that's why 2C, it's like KCX engineering was the other side, but I have to.
By the way, you got to turn that off.
Okay.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
it so they don't run
Yeah.
the battery down.
Yep.
So how did they find? Was there a conversation?
I was so dumb that it's fun. I'm a simple guy. I have this phone number since I came to the U.S. 20 years ago, and I never changed it.
right.
So when I put on business card, and some of them like, it's funny to go look for the phone number, and I was like, oh, this guy do this too. And then one of the guy from that firm say too, they found out you did the gun stuff.
And they didn't like it.
Yeah.
So they didn't bother to have a
No,
conversation.
they didn't even say a thing. Just never heard from them again, and I lost a lot of business. So I kind of like, you know what? I want to keep this thing separate, So I started a 2C on the side, but again, I don't know. I think it is what it. At some point, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I still, make it. Long story short, I still didn't change the phone number. So the rest of them out there, they're really trying to find me, and they want to. Take all the business away. It's their choice. I don't really care anymore. I think the gun size business is growing really well. People start to know more. And, life too short. Just do what you will believe in and passionate
That's
about.
so great.
That's just how I think.
That's such a great
Don't
attitude.
don't care anymore.
So what do people? Why would what are people looking for that would bring them to 2C?
So I obviously do a lot of stuff. I do custom work. There's a bunch of product out there because I'm under NDA, so I don't want to talk about it. But there's a lot of gun product out there on the market that people use. Actually, was developed by me in prototype. Then once it passed that phase, I help those company transfer to manufacturing. So there's quite a few of products, gun products out there that I develop. And then along the line, I love guns. One of the things I've done a lot, optic cuts and slide cut. It's actually, for example, like serration. It's actually a functional thing. It's not just for look. And then gun these days, I've heard a lot of things like when people getting older, they can't see very well. That's one of the reasons they go optic. They can totally see the optic. And then actually optic. So a typical iron sight, I think, is meant for shooting anything out to like 25 yards, something like that, But with an optic, you can, and a little bit of basic training, you shooting silhouette, body size silhouette target at 100 yards, 8 out of 10. That's just a normal thing I see people do every month. We all go out shooting or something like that.
These red dots are really cool. There's this. I think it's an amazing development. These red dots, especially on pistols.
Yep. So if you think about it, this is the revolution. The AR-15 or M16 service gun, they used to be only on iron sight, and then there's that EO tech that developed, a while back, and that's become like a standard. And I remember like maybe 10, 15 years ago, optic was, like there's one that you can buy. It's not very popular because think about it, the gun slide, they cycle. There's a lot of stuff going on right there, so it's hard to do something small and with the last that. Recoil and all that stuff. So it wasn't a thing back in the day, but in the last 5 years, I've seen so many great optic company to come out that it's getting smaller, and it's just so robust that you can't even destroy. I've seen people drop their gun, picked them up, didn't even lose zero, and then the dot is still there. So it's getting very popular these days. I think it's like in 5 or 10 years, it's gonna be like the standard, just like the EOTech on the AR back in the day.
I
And
think there's this temptation, there's this attitude on our side, and I don't even think I think a lot of it is kind of a subconscious thing where gun owners, when you make shooting easier, they're resistant to it. They kind of have this attitude of no, it has to be hard, and you have to learn how to do that hard really, really well. Otherwise, it's not real. And before red dots, I remember like there's a couple of different examples, but I remember like when Glocks really started getting popular. There's like this whole attitude from 1911 guys that were like, oh no, you have to learn how to the safety and take off the safety and slide the thing and the blah and the blah. And I'm like, well, no, it's a Glock. You don't have to do any of that. Yeah, well, that's not real. That's not the real way to shoot it. And I'm like, if you're going to do a competition, great. It should be difficult. It should be hard. You should be, showcasing that you've overcome something. But when you're defending your life, I want it to be as easy as possible. Like if they could develop a small button that all I had to do was push with my thumb, and
that guy would blow up.
Then I didn't even have to aim or whatever. That's what we're looking for with self-defense.
Yep.
So I think these red dots are, like you said, they're going to become standard.
So why are they green too? This one's green.
It's a little bit brighter when you shoot outside, stuff like that.
Okay, like during the day?
During the day, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a little bit brighter, yeah.
I've seen like yellow, red, and green. I think those are the yellows kind of gone old school.
I think yellow is like specialty. I think those are the one that run on solar or something like a fiber or something like that. So that's why it's yellow. But standard.
Well, someday you're going to design it to where you can change the colors.
Steve, that's why I have to keep saving money to hire David. Hopefully one day I'll get there.
If you
he
could,
just had an idea.
If you could people tell me all the time I have the greatest ideas for everybody else.
Yeah.
Except myself.
Know. I mean, somehow he drive a different car every week. He had some great ideas himself.
That's
He
where
didn't tell us, I think.
I'm always looking at like guys like you. You're the engineer, you're the designer, but you may not be the marketing guy.
Oh, yeah. I know
Dave's
that,
the idea guy.
See, I come up with just a million ideas.
Yeah.
Just because if it's good for the community, if it's good for the people, then you need everybody to jump on board and help you.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
all right,
you got to buy Gunfighter Tacticals. What you got to do?
We're going to go to a commercial here. Then we're going to continue on with 2 and talk a lot more about 2C.
Yeah, 2C.us.
Yeah, that's TWOSEE.us.
Hey, a lot of companies waste an enormous amount of money on marketing. The design is excellent, the photos are beautiful, and your website looks great, but it's just not getting customers because you don't have the words that make people buy. But now you can fix that with Sage Tree. Sage Tree can help you find the words that make it easy for your customers to understand what you do and how to buy from you. Stop wasting money today. Schedule a call. Getting started is real easy. Visit sagetree.com. Click on the Schedule an Appointment button at sagetree.com and click on that Schedule a Call button right now.
We're talking to 2 from 2C. That's TWOSEE.us. He does all kinds of customization, but particularly what we're talking about today are the slide cuts he did for his custom Glock, which is you had donated some to Gun Prom as well.
Yep.
And that's really, really awesome. Now, how does it work? Does somebody come in and they say, hey, this is what I want? Or do you have like a set menu and folks can choose from it, or a combination of both?
So the standard stuff that I do cover a lot of whatever people out there want already. So between my website and my Instagram, there's enough sample there. So there's a lot, probably like 70-80% of people call me. They just text me pictures like, that's what I want. That's it. And then I gave them an appointment to come in and drop it off. I finished and sent it back to them. Optic cut is normally like done within an hour and a half. Slide cut, the same day to up to maybe the second day or something like that. And then the other custom stuff, pretty much anything they've seen out there, they send it, I can do it. I keep telling people and say, anything that is physically possible, I can do that. And the work on the websites and the Instagram actually show it over the years. So yeah, that's how it's done.
That's awesome, man. What do you think of the industry? Are we Are we going in a good direction, or you think the industry's starting to sputter, or what do you think?
I don't know. I think it's getting harder, especially last couple of years. Everything's going on, but I think it's going strong. I don't know. I go to SHOT Show every years, and I mean, like I said, it's getting harder. I mean, but
I'd
it's
imagine
going
it's
strong.
hard to be creative. I mean, there's so much going on out there.
Here's what I'm gonna say on that. I think it's harder because you're lazy. I mean, there's always something. I mean, it's like no bashing on other people, but I mean, for
Well, they get
example,
comfortable.
yeah, they get
They
comfortable.
make one
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
go, "Oh, that's really selling
There's
well."
always
So
something.
I don't need to do anymore.
Yep, that's exactly. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. That's
No,
how
no, no,
big
no.
business model should be. Least amount of work with the large
Most
amount
amount of profit.
Yeah. So and that I in fact actually like that, because that where the thinker, the creative guy like me, that's where, like I don't feel, threatened or anything, but because like the more they crank out something, there's always something. I think the majority of my customer, they know this. They send stuff to me because they know that the detail, and then there's a few things, just like for example, optic mount. Everybody think optic mount. Oh, anybody can do that. That's actually not true. Every week I would have at least two to three slide or gun or combo sent to my shop because it's not right.
Oh wow!
Oh
So
yeah, that's actually a business.
So you fix more than
Oh
you
yeah, I fixed.
design.
And then the guy was like, Jesus, like how complicated could this be? But this guy, mount my optic, and then it just, I never deal with it. And even the guy in the shop know, like Miranda, she's seen things that come back and forth, and sometimes she just run straight to me, and then she take notice and say, "Hey, your two go mount that optic," and the guy never come back again. I was like, and she's a fun ass gal, right? And she's like, "What did you do differently?" I was like, "Yeah, like a lot of I see this and this, so." And then it's not nothing big deal. The customer that actually came up that asked me, I share everything with them. But a little bit in here, a little bit in there, and then I like this stuff. So I watch every system, every optic combinations, every slide. Everything's slightly different. The long story short is this: slide for a longest time wasn't designed for optic. So when optic came out, it's kind of like they trying to put it together. There are new manufacturers that actually start to redesign the slide, so it's more optic friendly. But
So
it's
they
like a
can
very-
get optics on
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in that meantime, I enjoy pick up a little detail here and there, make it better over the years. Two things in the last 2 years that I most proud of is I created this thing called Optic Irons. It's on my website. It's have a lot of detail in there. But when I came to SHOT Show last year, the response was amazing. Like big company, Chijikun came talk to me, Lubo, like all the big guys came. I was like, oh my god, finally somebody is doing something that makes sense. So we start shipping that, since May already. And lately, I cut. So 1911 is easy is not an example. It's kind of hard to cut. I think not so many shop actually do 1911. CZ there's like a one shop. And then lately, people start to send stuff to my shop. It's like, hey, why don't you send to that shop? Because like they are a really good shop. Like they world pronoun about it. My customers say too, I can't wait for 3 months. You cut the side the same day, so I'm gonna keep bringing it.
Right, right.
So I figure all that out. But the new mountain system that I created is called the XX11 mount. It worked for 1911 especially, and then CZ, and then I'm actually adopting it for 6 as well. The moment I launched, it's just so many shop call me. They send it in, so it's just I'm going to SHOT Show this year, and then I'm gonna have those things on the table so people can see. But like I said, key thing is like I would love, like they can go out and do go the lazy easy way, and then let me pick the detail and make everything better. And for the people who care about the attention to detail and go to my shop, that's what they get.
Keep this up, and you're going to end up in the same boat he is with the gun show. Wasn't it nice when I could knock one out in a day? Now it's 2 weeks or it's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I know it's a terrible thing to have happen, but I mean, the more popular you get and the more people see, because to me, a gun is no different than a car. You want to be personalized. You want that car to be yours and yours alone. And that's what they get from you with their gun.
Yep.
That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. And what's really unusual too is that you have a creative mind and you're an engineer. Usually it's one or the other. Usually engineers aren't that creative, and creative people don't have what it takes to be an engineer. and it's unusual to have that in that personality.
Well, and a lot of
person.
times engineers, they only want to solve problems. You don't want to do that. You want to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
With your own touch.
Yeah.
With your own.
Kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah. But I mean, because you'll get bored if you were making the same thing day in and day out, day in and day out.
You're like the Elon Musk of the gun world.
Oh, that's a good compliment.
I like that guy. Yeah. He worked really hard. He's always really smart, but he worked
How did you get into engineering? So you came to the U.S., and then how did you get into engineering?
To be honest with you, I didn't know anything better. Somebody told me just go do that. But I think that somebody was kind of like, because they see me, and I was like, hey, this guy's always, doing something and perfection, like he put a nail into something, and if he doesn't like it, he'll do it again.
Yeah.
Or just go get another piece of wood and do it again. It's the same thing, everything I do. And I was like, hey, you should go do that.
See, that's okay. So that's an engineer's personality. That's not a creative person's personality.
Right.
They're the total opposite. Like, what good enough is good enough. I'm here for the
another thing
experience.
people ask me, hey, too, because I actually, back in my corporate life, I have a lot of patents. It's insane amount of, thing I created. Yeah. Some of those patents I remember, like the big money guy, like I would walk into the room and they said, this is what, so this is catheter, it's medical device. I was doing that. Catheter's been there for maybe 50, 100 years, and I was one of the new kids come into the startup. And then it was sitting there and it was like, this is, like what people are doing out there. And I was just like within like probably like 10 seconds, I said something, everybody was looking at me, it's like, you just solved a problem that, and the founder of the company, he's an MD, he's an ER doctor for almost 30 years. And he was like, this right here is what the industry has been doing for 50 years. And I did not know, but you just solved the problem. That was one of the patents that I'm actually really proud of. And over the year, here's what I learned. I think if you sit here and you're trying to find a problem to invent something new and trying to make money, I don't think you go that far. I think the thing come out of me is like I always work really hard, and then when I go into work and I have to do something, and I just like this is just not. Mm-hmm. That keep the optic is one of the things. I didn't sit there and try to invent anything, but I cut so many slides, like 10, 15 a day, and I just sit there, hit the button, like wait for the thing. And why I'm doing that instead of like just not know, I look at it and I'm like, oh, they do this and they do that. And
but if I do this, and I do
that, I just see it. I'm like, oh well, why didn't you do that? That before I patent that thing, actually, it's like, look at that. I was just gonna go home and 3D print it and put it on a website. Next one's like, why don't you guys do this? But then I sit there and I'm like, wait a minute. I literally seen everything I could imagine in the last 4 or 5 years. If I didn't see this, probably nobody did that. So I called one of my Tony patent office, a friend of mine from back in the corporate days, and was like, hey. A little bit of cash, go look at something, and the guy was like, no, I couldn't find anything like that. So yeah, that's an example of how I would explain. I mean, when you actually pay attention to detail, you're gonna see the thing that's just not perfect, it's not there.
Well,
and then you work hard, someday just come. And then,
my analogy is, and I tell everybody, when you look at that, you have a camera in your head that you have like film.
Yep.
And you can look at that, and you can see the modifications you did to it in your head. Mm-hmm. Me, I have no film in my head. It's as empty as a frickin' box of chocolates, I'm telling you. Because I've always wanted to design a particular, but I can't see it.
Well, you're out of film.
I'm out of film. Can you? Can you imagine something that you want, and in your head you can see what it is you want at the end?
I do, but mine's not film. It's like the old glass. You remember the first,
right,
like the first
and
cameras that you had to pull. Yeah, it's more like that.
But I mean, it's and when I find people like him, like the minute he looks at it, he goes, "Oh well, shoot! If you do this and you do this and you do that, it'll be a much better part."
I mean, two's clearly I have a creative streak. I mean, there's a bunch. I mean,
you do.
San Diego kind of got it. There's a bunch of stuff in there that's, you had to be creative, believe me. But not like that. I mean, this is what two's doing is, phenomenal.
Right. No, and I think I like your attitude. You're not out there trying to make $30 million by next Thursday.
But if he does.
But if he does, that's fine. But I think you care more about the end product than you really, because that's your reputation.
And I like the fact that you're supportive of the community. You don't have to. You can just go out and get your money and be done with it, but you give back so much, and I'm truly, truly appreciative.
You're just hoping when people see that, oh, yeah, 2 did that.
Yeah. So check out, we're going to go to break here. Check out 2c.us. TWOSEE.us. Go to that website. Check out his products. There's got to be something on there you want to buy.
Oh, yeah.
Support
if not,
2.
ask him. He'll come up with something.
There you go. Support 2 like he supports us. Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.